Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to Around the Grid. It's been almost 2 months since we last did this. Been a busy time for me, but we're finally back and we are continuing with Mercedes. So basically, we've gotten the first half of the season done. We are in the lead of the championship here. We have a good 11 points on Williams, which is not a lot. And the drivers is looking a lot better, however, with almost 51 points over Yamamoto. But as I mentioned last time, we do have a problem here with Show just not performing to the level that we need. And we also don't have, the financial power, if you so will. We have 2 million in the bank right now. We kind of don't have the financial freedom to really do a lot of projects right now. Our car is the best in cornering. There's just no way around it. We have the best cornering. We have the best tire preservation car. Show should probably perform a little bit better than he is right now. And if we take a look at the components here, we have, I believe, for the most part, reached the peak of what our car can do. We do need to put these new front wings on, and honestly, we might as well just get to manufacturing an extra two here. The rear wings we got sorted, the side pods we got sorted, the underfloors we got sorted, and honestly, the suspensions are kind of sorted as well. So what we are going to do, I think, till we get to the end of this year, is try and get a little bit of research done here for the Mercedes team. If we take a look at the board and the rules, regulations, the chassis is getting hit. We've already done that, apparently. The side pods is getting hit. So I think we put our last safety period into the side pods. And that's generally is going to be Mercedes being a better car next year and potentially being a problem next year, as we will be taking on a different team. Currently, that looks to be Has, but Alpine is putting their hat in the lot, so to speak. So let's see how that turns out. Sidepod research is currently underway. We'll see if that research is actually going to result in a new one. Basically, if we have safety time, we'd like to use it, of course. But we are in a bit of an interesting position here because I think we will not have many problems getting the drivers. Let's face it, Rivas here is an amazing driver, max defending, accuracy, and cornering with the mentality buffs, and even the smoothness is almost max. So we don't really have any sort of complaints here. The race engineer doesn't have the best affinity, but that's not really a big problem. It is going to be a show here that is going to be the main hindrance, if you will, getting this title. Unfortunately, that is just the nature of the game. Casper has been poached by Williams. They keep on. The irony of Williams stealing unaffiliated is actually pretty great. But yeah, research-wise, this seems to be a safety work. I'm going to have to be honest. 8%, that is 16% drag, 4% cooling. That has to have been a safety project work. And we are getting a new safety period in 17 days. We might use it for a design, honestly, if we already caught up on research. I think that would be the worst idea ever. But with that said, there's not really much going on right now. We are going to jump directly into Sandvoort and see if we can continue this streak of good form. Sandvoort qualifying here is over, and Rivas finds pole. Show here finds 10th. Luckily for us, the Williams did not have the best of qualifying sessions either, so we will take that. Use that to our advantage, hopefully. Now, it is going to rain. That's going to be a bit of a problem for us. Now, because of the fact that it is going to rain, we don't actually need to use a medium tire because we are going to go in an inter at one point, no matter what happens here. The question is just when. As you can see, the expectation here is lap 30, it's going to start raining, and then it's going to just start peaking. Now, the game doesn't actually want us to go to an inter until lap 47 or lap 52, actually. So there's quite a difference in opinion from the game here on when is the best time to pit. So with that in mind, I do want to use strategy here to basically try and figure out what would be a good strategy to do. And as of right now, a light soft into a full attack medium does seem to be the best option, at least for Rivas. Now for Shoei, we're going to put him to lap 50 just to be on the safe side. And let's see here if we can do a similar strategy for him, or if he's going to run out of tire. As you can see, he runs out of tire a lot quicker. Is one of the problems with having low smoothness. So what we might do for him might be something like this. And as you can see, this is still expected to be faster. We'll try this. If it turns out to be non-functional, if you will, we'll go ahead and change it up a little bit. But we'll manage tires, we'll manage fuel, and we'll see here if we can take a good result here. The first race back in a while. As we're getting close to our first pit stop, we have an issue between Ocon and the Sauber here. Just a light walloping, I guess you could say. But currently we are running 1-2, but that is because everyone, including Sonoda here, has pitted. We are going to get shuffled down a little bit in the pit stops, but that is, I think, just going to have to be the price that we pay here for what we are trying to do. And it is still going to be partly cloudy in 9 minutes. The rain is moving further and further away, so lap 50 might not be the worst estimation we've ever seen. Ocon also receives a penalty. But yeah, we're going to try and push here. We're going to go in the mediums a little bit earlier. And then we're going to have to try and make something happen. We were running with Albon for the most part for show. It's very expected that we will be dropping down here. But in 1 second pit stop. So even for Rivas, it's going to be a little bit of a job here to get back in it after we do pit. But better tires before the final set of pit stops here before the wets is probably going to be in our favor, I'd say. So we're going to try and make this work for us.
15 minutes.
So rain is arriving here now, and as I mentioned here, lap 47 to lap 52 was the estimate. We're currently burning these mediums up a little bit. We have a little bit of an advantage here, but we definitely lost time to not pitting earlier, which is kind of bad for Rivas here. But I think we can make a comeback, particularly with the adaptability of some of these other drivers not being as high as Rivas is. Now, Show is kind of not in a good place. I'm not going to be sugarcoating it. He is far behind Albon, and with the rain arriving, he's not going to have a good time. He doesn't have the best adaptability. So we'll just have to try and make the best out of this pretty bad situation. I'm not going to lie. At lap 40 here, we only have 0.10 millimeters of rain on the track, and we have also caught up here to both Yamamoto and Verstappen. And with a 20% tire advantage, that is going to be very, very helpful. If the rain continues to go up this slowly, they might need to try and survive 10 more laps on these tires. That's just not going to be good for them. In terms of show here, we are trying to recharge the battery so we can get some overtaking done. It is a bit of a train here with Sainz and Leclerc. But hopefully now with DRS and energy, Show can finally get by, and he does. So the beautiful double overtake. And currently, as I mentioned, the plan is to try and get Albon. Right now, that seems to be on track. And for Rivas here, it's just recharging that battery, allowing the other two to squabble with their worn tires. And once we now have battery, which should be just about now, we should be seeing an overtake happening, as Show has got himself up to 7th place out of Norris, and it's gaining almost 2 seconds a lap currently on Albon. So right now, doing an amazing job. Let's see if we can see Rivas get an overtake on Yamamoto and Verstappen, similar to what Show did. We have better tires, we have kind of better everything here. Unfortunately, we decide to go for the same lane as Verstappen, so we can only get one overtake done. But the goal right now is going to be to break free as we hit 0.5 millimeters of rain on the track, with, as I mentioned, probably still 3-4 more laps before it gets to the point where you actually need inters. So if we can break away with Show here from Albon, with Rivas from Verstappen and Yamamoto, I'd say this strategy is a success, although I think for Show's sake, it would have been better to go for the undercut. This is not where you want to overtake Rivas. Should have waited one more corner before you made that move, I'm not going to lie. We are pretty quick, but let's face it, Verstappen with DRS is just going to catch us again, might even just re-overtake. And that is exactly what happens. That overtake was made a little bit early. But yeah, we are going to try and get some overtaking done here before the rain fully arrives. We get around 0.10 millimeters lap right now. If it continues like this, in 3 to 4 laps is when most cars will be jumping into the pit lane. But with that said, I don't think it's going to be a huge problem. And this time, we actually did manage to get, or rather stay behind Verstappen for the DRS detection point. And this should be a very simple overtake, and also a very simple gap to create before we do pit. For sure, we're going to try and do the same thing here, although we couldn't get the move done right now. A little bit slow. But we see Sainz, we see Leclerc come in. The first interrunners has arrived, as Rivas now has gotten out of the DRS of Verstappen. We're going to stay out for one more lap, I think. We want to try and play it a little bit safer here. And for sure, breaking away from Albin would be amazing. But we'll see now. Who is going to pull the trigger early and pit? Both Verstappen and Yamamoto did do just that. Albin did just that. So I think what we're going to do here is respond. We are going to go in and we are going to pit. The water is not going to be super high when we do this. Don't get me wrong. We could potentially also stay out another lap and still be safe, I think. But currently we're doing 114s. Do I want to gamble on staying out another lap? It could be worth it for sure. But for show here, track position is probably going to be more valuable, so we'll just get him in as of right now. Rivas comes in, show's going to come in. Rivas should have no problem beating Verstappen out, I would think, if the stop is clean, and that is a big if. 2.3 seconds, that's not bad. What can Show do here? Can we have a similar stop for him? 2.1, an even faster one. Are we going to beat Albin out? I would hope so. And we do, in fact, beat Albin out by just about a second's worth of margin here. So now getting tempered to these tires, maintaining the gap is going to be the name of the game. And for sure, if you can get Bottas, Tsunoda, anyone up ahead, that would be great. But beating Albin is going to be the main goal here. So we have a bit of a problem here with Show. He has picked up underfloor damage after being pushed wide by Albin. And let's be honest, there's nothing much we can do about that. We'll just have to deal with it. Unfortunately, that means Albin is most likely going to beat him. And potentially, since we do have DRS right now, since we're under that 1mm mark, we could see Albin here also get Bottas. But yeah, for Show, this is basically his race being a bit ruined. Can't really blame him too much. And honestly, just trying to nurse this back into a 7th place with 6 laps and 3 seconds difference is going to be the name of the game here. For Rivas, it's going a lot better. First place, 11 seconds on Yamamoto is kind of what we love to see. So as a team effort here, this is acceptable. Albin going up to 5th is not really that good for us. It's a virtual safety car now, as I was about to say Kospi, but Koskinen has managed to hit the wall. So that should kind of sell this race, I think. Koskinen has crashed.
Let's take a closer look. Look at the McLaren driver here. There's clear contact there.
That's not the worst hit we've ever seen. He slowed down a lot there, so at least McLaren shouldn't be losing any powertrain components, which is good for them. But yeah, for us, that underfloor damage that we're about to pick up, it's actually pretty bad. It's going to be costly. We don't have a lot of money, although we are definitely beating the expectations for the race result this time around. It's not the best thing ever. 3 laps to go. I think we'll be finishing this one where we're at right now. The race is over. Rivas is in the lead here. Show is, or rather, Rivas took the win. Show is going to finish 7th, Albin 5th, and Yamamoto 2nd, which means that it's not the best race weekend we've ever had. I'm not going to lie. Albin has once again beaten Show. That's kind of a bad thing. Just 4 points this time around, so Rivas winning does kind of do a little bit of damage limitation. But Show definitely didn't need that damage, and honestly, I can't really blame Show for this one. Albin did push him wide. With that though, we increase our lead in the Constructors by just 4 points. But if we keep this up for the last remaining races, we are going to take both titles, and that's going to be the big goal. We did get some money there. I clicked it on a little bit too quickly, but if you saw that, the goal for this race was 18th and 14th place. So even with our car being pretty amazing, let's go car 2. That one has car bots. So even with our car being basically the best cornering car there is, no one is expecting us to finish high up in the points. So that is interesting, to say the least. But it's not a big problem. We now have 3 million in the bank, 2.8. And as I mentioned, we might use the next safety period to try and make maybe another rear wing, I think. Getting that DRS percentage up would be okay. It's not something we desperately need right now. But getting up a little bit more would be okay. We're in August, September, October, November. Still 3 months remaining. We can definitely get a new rear wing going. And I think that would be a good idea for the final few races here. With that said, let's just tick over the month here. Just like that. And I think we actually have a new CFD period pretty soon. Control up for 1 for sure. That's not bad. Ajar has been poached by Red Bull. Guess he's going back to his roots. But as I mentioned here, I might design a new rear wing. And while it's not going to be a huge increase in potential, it's going to help us out a little bit. But for now, we're going to Monza. Let's see if the Italian GP has any spectacle for us. The qualifying at Monza just spiced up quite a bit as Yamamoto and Tsunoda apparently has come to blows and caused a red flag. Unfortunately, we don't get a replay because of the fact that it is, well, the end of qualifying. As you can see, we barely survived. Verstappen got shafted because he had the exact same time as us. So, that was a good way to start the Italian GP. Very spicy. That show beat Verstappen with the exact same time. I did not have that on my bingo card, and neither did I have Yamamoto here, as well as Tsunoda, crashing each other out in the qualifying session. We'll get Q3 done, and then we'll see where we stack up on the grid. Unfortunately, we were not able to take any big advantages out of the situation. Rivas second here between the Astons, and we have Show in 7th, only beating Stroll. We do have Albin down in 13th here, though. So honestly, Monza here might be the place where we do get a little bit of a gap to the Williams cars. The only problem is, of course, the fact that it is a straight line track, basically. Straight line speed is going to be key here, and with that in mind, it does make things a little bit rougher in terms of how we want to handle this. Now, I think I'm going to go with aggressive medium here for show. Just try and get that pit stop done earlier than last time. Kind of put myself in a little bit of trouble. We might try something like this even. But yeah, it's about 1 second slower than doing this. Just go full send, get in early. Might even try and manage these hards a little bit so we have something to give towards the end. And honestly, I think for Rivas, the idea is going to be very, very similar. We go full send. On those mediums, we destroy them, we pit early, and then we take advantage of saving the hards compared to the AI, hopefully, towards the end. That is going to be the idea here. Is it going to work out? I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's see if this gives us a good race, or get a boring one, where we end up getting not the advantage that we want over the Williams team. With a fairly aggressive start to the race here in Monza, we've actually been able to do a pretty good thing here, I dare say. We have, well, Rivas running off track there isn't good. But basically, we've been able to put both cars in a 1-2, and we've created a gap to Bottas and Russell further down the line, while Yamamoto and Albin is still 9th and 10th. So, provided that we don't have any big risks here, we're just going to tune them down a little bit. Provided we don't get damage from them just bullying each other, we should be able to create quite a decent gap here before we do our first pit stop. Let's see where we end up by the end of this first stint. We've had an incident, but we have been able to create the gaps that we wanted. Paris here has been causing some problems in the back, apparently. That's actually amazing. That was a case of, what's it called? Basically, they spun into each other. I've never seen that before. It was actually kind of amazing. But let's be perfectly honest here. Currently, we're in a really, really strong position. We have 10 and 12 seconds on Albin and Yamamoto, respectively. We are not degrading these tires as fast as we expected. And we are basically going to be able to respond to Albin and Yamamoto if they do decide to pit early. So right now, we are in full control of this race. Let's see if we can keep this up for a little while longer. My worries have come to reality here. They have happened. We have picked up underfloor damage here on show as he got pushed wide by Rivas. Honestly, I should probably just force show to have stayed behind. But the DRS swaps have been in our favor, I'm not going to lie. So it sucks. I'm not going to lie. It sucks that it's happened like this, but honestly, it was coming. I think it's honestly a good thing that it happened to show and not Rivas, but we'll just have to try and deal with it. The time has come. We're on lap 18 out of 53, and basically we're kind of already in overtime here when it comes to pitting show, but we are going to get him in. I think on this lap, it's just going to be be better for us to do that. It'll give him more time to heat up his tires, and he should still be able to stay ahead of everyone once we've got the pit stop sorted. Rivas has 10% more time to play with, however, so she's probably going to do 2-3 more laps. We are getting show in here, and honestly, we could also try and be a little bit more ballsy and say put him onto a strategy where he goes to the hard here and just goes full attack. Then we finish it off with a soft. It might not be the worst thing ever, all things considered, but as you can see, it's basically the same in terms of pace, and we do take some risk with an extra pit stop, and we can go attack towards the end here. So unless we struggle with getting temp into the hards, there's no real point in doing it here. Monster's just the one-stop capital. Now, in terms of where we're going to come out, we are going to come out in traffic, of course, and that's going to be a bit of an issue. But I don't think it's going to be a huge problem here, as Piastri now also picks up some underfloor damage. 3 seconds after Gasly Bottas, there are some gaps that we can exploit, and honestly, as I mentioned, most of these cars are going to be pitting within the next 3 or 4 laps, so I don't think Show is going to struggle too much by coming out in basically a little bit of traffic here. We are getting to lap 27 here, and basically almost everyone has pitted. The exception is Ocon, who started on a hard tire, and Sargeant, who also started on a hard tire. They are both still on track. But after pit stops here, we have 14 seconds down to Albon, we have 16 seconds down to Yamamoto, and we are still running 1-2 at the moment, even though Sargeant and Russell here, it's making life a little bit hard for us as a yellow flag pops up there for just a second. Yeah, right now, I'd say we're in a really, really good position. As I mentioned here, tires are going to be a bit of an issue for Show, but with Albon and Yamamoto already kind of catching up to him, and still having that advantage of, well, in this case, running with Russell, and the temperatures being fine, I think we're looking pretty solid. I'm not gonna lie. So let's see how this goes. 25 laps remaining. It should be potentially a 1-2 finish here. And just as I think that, we get a safety car, and honestly, I think we are staying out. Sargeant is pitting, but that makes sense. He's on a hard tire. It is Porsche, I believe, that had a mechanical fault, and that has led to just straight up a DNF on track. Could also be him running over a curb, of course, but this safety car is going to take away a lot of the advantages that we've had, which is pretty bad, not going to lie. But Albon and Yamamoto stay out, and this is going to give them a chance to get back at us. Show also falling down to 4th as the safety car gets called. It's not good. And Rivas' temperature here is concerning. 118 degrees while running light behind the safety car. That seems somewhat buggy here, game. Are we being punished for running behind the safety car? I need to see if anyone else is suffering like this, because, yeah, Rivas, that is not what we like to see. However, it has brought the fuel back to the positive. And what I think that we are going to do here is just run as we are. Rivas already has the tire advantage of Albon and Yamamoto. And let's face it, DRS here is going to allow us to kind of just take it chill. As of the moment, take it easy, allow the other cars to overtake. It's going to potentially give us damage if they do. But I don't see any other way out of this other than just playing for the DRS train. We could, of course, also gamble. And what I mean by that is we have Stroll here with damage. We have Leclerc, Piastri, Sargeant, Joe, of course, also, but we don't want him to DNF. But we have a lot of cars here that has damage. And if we want to gamble, it would be a full send and try and get a gap form. So we can't, basically, we are banking on another safety car if we go full send. I don't want to do it. I don't feel like the risk is worth it. But it would be an option here that we can do to try and create the gap and then work from there. But I think we're just going to stick to what we're doing so far. Might put Show here back to some high overtake aggression, default and neutral defending, since he has to deal with other cars. Probably should also deploy it because we are losing a lot of time to the top 3 cars. That is not a good thing. Let's just put it like that. We'll try and manage though. I kind of want to go full send because it would be funny, but we don't really have the gap here to take such a risk. So we will not do that, and we'll allow the race to kind of run its course here. And hopefully we'll be able to get a good result. While Albon here apparently has picked up some damage going bullied off. Good news for us, bad news for Williams. But yeah, we just need to manage. There is going to very likely be another safety car. It might punish us because we're running very, very close to each other. But as of right now, I don't see any choice but to play it a little bit safe here. Rivas probably also should be given the more aggressive treatment right now to compensate. Yeah, as long as everyone is in the DRS train, managing tires is going to be key. And then hopefully we'll be able to make a comeback towards the end. We've had a crash here, and apparently Rivas has been involved by looks of this. Multiple cars crashed.
We've had a crash. What happened there?
And it is Rivas and Tsunoda that has had a bit of an incident between them. And looks like Tsunoda came out worse for wear, but we might actually be penalized for that one, which would be pretty bad. So what we're going to do here with Rivas, we have 8 laps remaining. We have tire enough to go full attack. We have basically the resource here to do a little bit of pushing. And that's exactly what we want to do here. We want to try and create a gap to that RB behind if we can. In case we end up eating a penalty here, we need to make up 5 seconds. Show, on the other hand, here is still also having a pretty good time. The 3rd place here is within reach if we can pull that off. Luckily for us, no penalties have been given. But yeah, for Rivas here, I do want to create a bit of a gap because we don't need to have another car involved with 70% tires and 6 laps to go here. I don't think we need Tsunoda to be anywhere near us in case of a lockup or any other incident. So with the full push here, I think we should be able to break free. He has 50% tires. We have 70. The tire advantage alone should be enough to create a gap here. For show, management is going to be a little bit of the game here, but getting up behind Yamamoto would be great. And taking a podium place here would be more than acceptable to me with the damage that he has sustained. So all in all, both of our cars are in a decent enough position. Of course, Rivas is in the better position out of the two. No damage, better tires. But we'll have to see what we can do with show. Because running behind Yamamoto and just taking care of those tires, recharging would be great. And are we going to push Yamamoto off track? Not right now. But we are going to get ahead. And as I mentioned, the better tire advance we have, the more energy, the better our chances here at getting something done. So for now, we're going to allow show here to just recharge. There are a lot of cars in very close proximity, however, so we don't really want to recharge too much, because if we do, that could definitely lead to more than just one car overtaking us. However, right now we should be fine with doing a little bit of recharging. 5 laps to go. If we can get the battery to full, I'm pretty sure that we got this one in the box. But again, look at the damaged cars here. Look at the potential for carnage. And you probably do understand my concern that we might certainly get into trouble. Science here, mechanical fault, has evolved into a... Well, Lawson's mechanical fault here has escalated too. We could have a safety car on this lap if we're not careful. So, as you can imagine, the end here, it's getting rather interesting, as things turns out. Probably a little bit more interesting than I would like. And Yamamoto now is just creating that gap. We did give her a little bit too much of an edge here. She's definitely taking advantage. No way around it. And the safety car is deployed after we cross the main straight. That is absolutely unlucky. Let's just put it like that. 4 laps to go, safety car. The question here now is this safety car going to get back into the pits before the end of the race, or are we better at staying out? And looking at everyone else here, staying out does seem to be the correct choice. It seems Lawson is the one who retired on track. So we did get the safety car we expected, but not at the time we expected. And as I mentioned, everyone is staying out. So I think we're not going to take any risks here. There's too few laps remaining. Well, I would love for show here to get some overtaking done. I don't see it happening. And you can already see the cars are lining up. So show's had a pretty unlucky one. Went from 1-2 to getting screwed over by one safety car and then the second one. But honestly, it's also my mismanagement. Let's not play this. Let's not kid ourselves here. It is my mismanagement. But with Alpine outside of the points, I think I can be happy with a show 50. And we might even get a chance of launching a final attack with a little bit of tire advantage. Safety car is ending. We are getting that chance to go for one last send. And I think it's going to be, yeah, final lap. Second as safety car ends, we are going to have a final lap showdown.
reduce lift and coast if desired.
And that is going to be decisive. Tsunoda has even gotten a mechanical failure while the safety car is waiting to get in. But yeah, let's see here. For Rivas, defending is going to be key, and that has already happened. For show here, we are going to need at least some defense, if not an overtake. Getting one overtake would be amazing. Getting anything more than that would be even more amazing. But right now, Rivas has broken free. Koskinen has had a bit of a spin. What can show do here on the final lap without DRS? I think we don't have the top speed here really to get anything done, unfortunately. That does seem to be the case. But as I mentioned, first and fifth here with everything that's been going on is still very much an accepted result. And Albin does finish 12th, Yamamoto in third. We get quite the point gain on Williams here. And that is something that I will be very, very happy with. Tsunoda improves from basically last to second. That is also quite impressive. Gasly here, similar performance, plus 10 places, 14 for Piastri. With that now in the drivers, 70 points separate us and Williams. And in the constructors, the gap has gotten quite a lot bigger. We gained 21 points in this race alone. That is huge. So we will definitely take that. We will continue our journey here. Next race should be I'm stuck. Help me. Everyone is leveling up, so I can't actually see what the next race is. You gotta be joking me. In Baku, yes. And that is another place where we should have a good result. Mayhem could cause a little bit of an issue there. But I don't think Baku is going to be necessarily bad for us. I'm going to vote against this proposed regulation change because we're going to the 11th team anyways. I could make it harder by voting for. But we were already struggling with the financials as Mercedes. I think we're going to struggle even more as potentially Haas. Let's see what we can replace here, what we need to manufacture, and then we'll see if we do the rear wing project. As I mentioned, I think doing the rear wing project wouldn't be a bad thing. It will just give it a little bit more oomph, and we've already done enough research to make up for the regulation change next year. As you remember, rules regulations here, it's just side pods. We need one more side pod project, not gonna lie. Airflow front isn't that important. But yeah, basic side pods are almost caught up. The chassis is more than caught up. So I think we are good. The sign, rear wing, we are going to put in CFD and wind tunnel time here. And this should help us get a little bit more of a powerful car. Now, it's also going to help Mercedes next year, which might make them dangerous with Rivas. Rivas is going to be a tough opponent to beat, don't get me wrong. But yeah, this is the expected gains even without the buff. So once we get to the second edition, it's going to be a lot higher. 27 days is what it's going to take us. So we're going to have it basically for the last 3 races. Vegas, Lusail, Yaz, all of them kind of DRS heavy, so it's not bad. But we might rush the final project. We don't have the money really to rush this one. I need to have a little bit of money in the bank in case something unexpected happens. With that said, we are heading to Baku. Let's see if we can continue this good form. Probably has been an interesting affair here, as we now see Bottas causing a red flag. Been crashed by Porsche and Koskinen in earlier sessions, but this is the first red flagged one. Now, as you can see, Show there did get eliminated in Q1. Basically, Koskinen's crash in Q1 it's kind of screwed over his lap, and as a result, he ended up getting, getting put in a problematic position. But we will have to see what Rivas can do now. We have run out of weather for this qualifying session. And that is generally a bad thing, as I feel like the AI do a lot better when they have no weather to play with. And it looks like a lot of cars there are banking on just that one lap. To be fair, for Rivas, we should be able to do another. It's not really a bad situation. And as you can see here, we are a couple of tenths behind Yamamoto, so we're not in a terrible shape. I'd say we're still pretty good as of this moment. We're going to use a fresh soft here for the final run. As you can see there, we've used a pretty worn one. I think that is fine. We are going to screw over Gasly here. That's just the nature of it. Guess we want to try and get one more run done here. Yeah, let's see where Gasly ends up. Probably lost a couple of tenths behind as well. Maybe a second even. For Rivas, we're doing the final run right now. First sector, is it going to be green? It's going to be purple. That's what we love to see. Gasly does not screw us over like we did him. I tip my hat to you. Sorry for causing you problems. And even then, we are slower than Yamamoto. And we do start here in second place. Porsche didn't do a run. I assume they need to switch components. He's going to start from pit lane. And for show here, it is a start in 20th place, although he'll probably be promoted a couple of places. Albon is down in 15th here, so it's not all terrible. The Williams driver did a little bit better than us, but both cars are out of the points. And with the low degradation back to begin with, I think for show here we can do something like start him on a soft tire, go full sand, go medium, go full sand, and then go another soft. I think that is going to be the best option available to us. And well, you can basically, with someone like Rivas here, potentially do a medium till the end like that, or potentially even just a soft no stopper. I think that is the best strategy we would employ here. I think we are going to go for something very, very similar to what we are doing show here, while doing, you know, the one stopper like this can be very, very powerful. I think we are going to go for a good old full sender strategy, which is very, very powerful around here, just purely due to the fact that pit stops up really, really quick, and the fact that, well, degradation is so low. So this is what we're going to do. Because Rivas starts at the front, we're going to start on the medium so we can go a little bit longer in case there are cars on mediums or hards further back. Because show starts pretty far to the back, we're going to go full send, hit early, hopefully, and that way get some undercuts going. That's going to be the idea. We'll have to see if it actually works out that way. I think it will, but my plans have a tendency to fail every now and again. Let's see if this is one of them. Baku, here we come. Life gets worse here in Baku as show has found the wall. Luckily, that's not a terrible crash. It's basically just a broken front wing. And while it sucks, he should be able to continue. And let's face it here, the chassis damage is a bit of a problem. We do have no real damage to the components. They were not really fresh. They were used last race as well. But what I think we do here is that we're just going to have to pit him, get that new front wing on, and we're going to get a safety car at one point here. It's kind of a shame, though, because show had actually... Is that rear wing damage? That has to be a bug, then. That is missing, but we will see, because that does look like rear wing damage to me. But according to the summary, it is just chassis and front wing. But as mentioned, we'll have to check that out later on. It is... Okay, that front wing wasn't properly attached to. But yeah, right now, show is going to have a massive amount of work to do here. A pit stop down from the medium tires. It doesn't really matter. It's not really going to change the pit strategy much. But this says we have no rear damage. We'll have to see if we believe it after a couple laps here. But yeah, not the best start to a GP here. And we've actually allowed Yamamoto to get away while I've been busy with that. But again, not really a big problem. Show here now is going to have a lot of work out of him. We are not the only ones crashing at turn 16. Charles has done the... Not the same thing, but he too has found the wall there on those hard tires. Show has finally caught up to the back here with Koskinen being the one that I pitted. Honestly, a lot of cars are pitting right now. We are going to stretch this one, I think, a little bit longer because we still have plenty of medium tire left. But for the time being, Show has caught up to someone and could start getting some overtaking done and get some of that driver confidence back. And just like that, we are back in it. The question, of course, is going to be if we can get back in the points, but it is a good start. We are getting close to the end here, just as Show overtakes Albon, and it has been a decent recovery drive here, honestly, for Show. We've been managing these offs quite a bit, but for now, going full send till the end should be doable. And we might even be able to get a point here off of Bottas. We aren't that far off. Now, in the other end of the field here, Rivas has had a pretty dominant lead for the entirety of this race. And right now, we do have a pretty significant tire advantage over everyone. Softs are the best tire around here. And with that in mind, unless we have another safety car, Rivas should just be kind of coasting till the end. And honestly, I should probably manage the tires a little bit just to be on the safe side. But now, though, we're going to have to see if Show can get Sargeant and Bottas. And, of course, we do have Leclerc behind on very similar tires. So we could still not get points, but as long as Show beats Alpine, which is very likely, I think we'll be happy here. The final lap has begun here, and Show is about to get Gasly here for another point, which is not terrible. We are going to go full deploy here, see if we can catch Norris. I kind of doubt it, but we'll give him the opportunity to try at least. Rivas has won. There's no contest really here from Manuel, really. Yamamoto is going to get second, which keeps her in the championship fight a little bit longer. And for Shoei, as I mentioned, getting 9th place is a good recovery drive. Could probably have gotten top 6 if not for the crash. Let's be honest, might even have finished higher. I think top 6 is very, very realistic. And can we get Norris here with the RS to the line? Fuel is a concern, so we'll turn that to balance. It just ticked down, so we should be fine. Energy is a little bit lacking, but it looks like we have just about enough oomph here to beat Norris to the line. And Show does a really, really good recovery drive with damage to chassis and ends up in the points there. And as I mentioned, I think Hamilton would have been within reach too, if not for that incident. So, a really, really good result. Might not seem like that for Show. Let's be honest, it's just an extra 4 points. But from nothing to 4, it does in fact matter. Drivers then, the gap has gone up to 77 points. Basically, we now just need to get to race 21. If we can maintain this, and then we won. And in the Constructors, we do extend that gap with 11 points. Finally getting a little bit of breathing space here that we have so desperately been wanting. But yeah, that is honestly a really good race weekend. It's a little bit disappointing that we qualified poorly and then crashed with Show, of course, but definitely made up for it. So I think we can be happy with it. The concern now is going to be parts, honestly. It's going to be components because financially we are still pretty poor. We only have 3 million in the bank. And as you can see, most components here on Rivas' car are getting to the point where they are going to need a replacement. We're going to Singapore next, which could also be a place where we're going to crash a lot. So as you can imagine, the car right now isn't in the best shape. And financially, we are a little bit strained, but I think it'll be okay. Luckily for us, Mercedes does have 4 manufacturing slots, so it makes it easy to keep on top of components. So I can't complain too much. In terms of cornering, we've been overtaking medium speed, and we are falling a little bit downwards. Tire preservation no longer our, well, best skill, if you will. And if we take a look at the Williams compared to our car, the Williams has a slight advantage in top speed. They have a better engine and better DRS effectiveness. We still beat them in every type of cornering, however. And I think that is the main thing that we are kind of happy with, really. In terms of who is beating us, the tire preservation is also letting the Williams down. Let's not lie. Who is actually beating us in tire preservation? It's actually Ferrari. They're not having a good season, so I can allow this to go their way. Let's just put it like that. But for now, let's go to Singapore, which probably will be the last race this episode. I'm sorry, but it's been a while. I'm just getting back into this, so we'll do a little bit less condensed today. Just I have something. As I said, I apologize. It's been a long time, but life has been busy. My body hasn't been the best, but hopefully we'll get back into a little bit more regular content going forwards. I can only hope. Singapore, cross your fingers. Let's see if we can extend our gap a little bit more. Similar to Baku, qualifying gets off with a firework here. That's a pretty hard crash there for Russell. Guess we should be happy that they cut away, but that is very likely going to end Q1 here. We're just barely through right now with Show, so we'll have to see. But there will not be a lot of time left once this red flag is over and done with. 4 minutes, basically 1 run for everyone. And I think I'm going to have to send Show out here. I'm going to send him out on what is basically a used tire, just because, well, we kind of have to. Ocon right in front of us is not a good thing, but we will cross our fingers and hope that he doesn't screw us over too hard here. And right now, it looks like we are through, so I didn't need to do another run here for Show. But it's going to be a bit of a tough qualifying session, and we are expecting rain in the main race, so we might not need to save as many tires as initially thought. But we'll see how quality goes here. Not really too much to it. We are going to try and, of course, save as many stops as we can, but I don't think it needs to be a high priority. Qualifying did not go away here, 5th and 7th, while we have the Williams in 1st and 4th. However, the main question here is going to be, when is the rain going to arrive? Because the rain is going to be a random factor. We're having light rain, and it is starting with light rain. With an estimate that we are just going to stick on the inters for the entire thing. That is interesting, to say the least. I think that just running conserve here might be the best option in that case. Basically try and build advantage towards the end of this. Push fuel at the start because we are going to underfuel, of course, but managing tires are going to be the main thing that we need to do here, I think. Because if there's no pit stops, then the gaps aren't going to be big enough, really, for us to be able to take advantage. And having 10-15% at the end of the race might be worth having a little bit of a slower race time, because, let's face it, we're not overtaking the cars in front anyways. So minimizing damage is going to be the name of the game here. If we can get up high, we will try. But it looks like it's going to be pretty much the same in terms of rain for the entire race here. And we can gamble on the Williams having worse tire preservation than us going in our favor. That's going to be what we'll try and do here. I think we're still going to get basically up to, 4th, 5th, 3rd, 4th, worst case scenario. So I want to try this. It's a little bit risky, of course, but going for a conserve strategy might be our best bet at getting a win here. It sounds wrong, I know, but genuinely, it probably is going to be the best option that we have available to us right now. First lap here is going to be important for getting overtakes done, so we are just going to go high on the overtake aggression. That's going to be it, and we'll have to see if we get a good start. That's a terrible start there for Show back there, but the McLaren doesn't have a better start either, so Show might actually get Leclerc here. And Leclerc might actually have defended Show a little bit, so that is not bad. But unfortunately, Rivas didn't get Albon on the start here, and Schumacher has already gotten some fatal damage to what I assume is front wing. What happened to good old Schumi here? Just drives into the wall, classic. But yeah, that is not actually him going to retire. It basically just means he has half a front wing remaining, so it's not a big deal. But we'll have to see what we can do here. I think we are going to get Albon, very likely. I don't think that's going to be a big issue. The problem would be temperature of the tire as Rivas just flies by. That is to be expected. Rivas has pretty much a big advantage there in terms of stats, so it does make sense. Question is if Show can do the same with the initial confidence boost. I'm hoping so, but I wouldn't bet on it, maybe. Oh, never mind. Show impressing here at the start of this race. Rivas, are you going for Piastri next? You are indeed going for Piastri next. I don't think you have what needs to get that done, though, however. And yeah, the goal right now is just going to keep on improving slowly these positions. And right now, it's already going a lot better than anticipated. And if we can manage tires compared to the rest here, that's going to be our advantage going towards the end of the race. But for now, we're going to allow things to proceed as they are. See if we can get into a good position here. We have reached the halfway point of the race here. And basically, we have had Show fall down to 7th. Rivas has taken the lead. And we're just running an always defense strategy here, where Rivas is just going to hold up Science, hold up Yamamoto. And particularly with increased temperature for Yamamoto, has got an engine problem right now. And if we can get that aggravated a little bit more, make it evolve, we could potentially see Yamamoto drop even further back. Tire-wise, we have just a small advantage of Yamamoto, but a pretty huge advantage over everyone else. Basically, even Show has a pretty significant advantage over basically everyone else on track right now, and that is actually huge, and that advantage is going to get bigger as we get towards the end. Unfortunately for show, I think 7th is best we can hope for. We'll have to see if we can catch Porsche and Albon. They're just a little bit quick, and we've had a couple of incidents involving Leclerc, involving Ocon, and Lawson and Sargeant, but nothing that has resulted in a virtual safety car or a full safety car. They just had some brushes with the wall, similarly to what Schumacher had early on. But yeah, the race is going very, very well. Let's keep this up. It's a shame about show, but let's be honest here. Not the best wet driver as it stands. And even though our tire temperatures are low, it's generally just that one tire that is underheated, the front left. So I'm not really losing a lot of time with it. And even Albon now has some mechanical faults. So the day keeps on getting better, so to speak. With 15 laps to go here, we can clearly see tire advantage starting to come into play here, with Rivas now having a 5 seconds down to Yamamoto, 8 seconds down to Sainz, and we haven't really changed anything. It's just that their tires are getting far more worn than ours. And even for Show, who was 8 seconds behind Porsche and Albon at one point, has shaved that down to just 3 seconds, being between 5 and 8 tenths faster a lap here, giving us a chance at not only snatching 5th place, but potentially even 4th here from Piastri if we can keep this up. So, right now, we're actually in a really, really promising position. We could probably go full send right now, but I think we're going to play it safe a little bit longer as we have a virtual safety car. Koskinen has found the wall, and that is a little bit unfortunate, but it does mean that we can now start going full send. We'll have to see if anyone is going to take advantage of this virtual safety car to pit. I don't think so. I don't see anyone really taking, the risk. You're going to end up losing positions. There's just no way around that. So what this kind of does is actually save Albon a little bit. It does help Albon from getting eaten up here a little bit. That is bad for us. But we'll have to see what Show can do once this virtual safety car ends. It is ending right now. Luckily, we are going to be in a corner while it does that, while Albon is going to be on basically a straight. I think we'll be closing down at least a little bit to the cars ahead. 3.4 there for a second, 3.4 again. The game is struggling to figure out just where we are on track, apparently. But yeah, 3.3, 3.6. We did gain quite a lot of time from that, and now that we are going to go full send till the end, we should be able to, as I mentioned, get Albon and Porsche, hopefully. That is going to be at least a hope. And for Rivas, we just don't need to do anything. For Rivas, it's just management till the end. Has an advantage. Let's try and not throw that advantage away. That's basically going to be the name of the game. For Show here, unfortunately, we're not actually catching the cars ahead, even with going full attack at the moment. We might be burning our tires a little bit too much here for nothing as things stand, so we'll go down to aggressive. Try and keep it under 105 degrees if possible. 10 laps to go. And with Albon and Porsche pushing, should be seeing some overheating from their side too. Gasly, mechanical fault is evolving. I don't know what to do here, honestly, because we can go full attack till the end, but it's going to be negative. On the positive side, we are reeling Piastri in. Like, Albon and Porsche are doing the exact same thing that we are. They're reeling Piastri in as a side effect of that. And we might even get signs if things keep going like this. But right now, Piastri is going to start slowing down the two that are ahead of us. With that, we'll be given a chance to get some overtaking done. High overtake version is in play. Let's see here what Show can do. Temperature is going to be an issue, but we should have a small tire advantage. We definitely have a car advantage. Just need to get that first overtake done so we can start building confidence. There has been some periods where track water has been low enough to get the RS. We're not going to get that till the end. So we are going to need a pretty aggressive full send here, I think, from Show. And if we don't get that, 7th is unfortunately going to be a likely finishing position for us. You can already see just how much our tires are starting to drop off just from running close to Porsche here. There we go. First move has been done. We still have plenty of battery to challenge Albin, to challenge Piastri. And I think that is going to happen right now. Albin, out of the way. Maybe not. Apparently, Albin could have way better exit than we did. That is a little bit unfortunate. The rain here is also going to keep us somewhat okay on fuel, but we're going to go balance just to be on the safe side. We are overheating massively right now, so we do need to get by immediately if possible. And we are going to try and get by Piastri. We do pull that off. Get by Albin finally. Piastri with some damage should be easily overtaken here. Come on. Come on. And we have a yellow flying there for a second. Who has done something?
So we have a car stopped.
It's Schumacher again. He's crashed. That's a pretty rough crash, honestly. Schumacher's not had a good day here. But now that we've actually gone ahead of Piastri, it should be pretty smooth sailing here for show. Unfortunately, I think we wasted too much time behind the Ferrari. And the traffic here is going to be a pretty negative factor in trying to get anything more out of this. I don't think we're catching Sainz with just 3 laps to go here. We're going to push our tires at least and see how close we get. But yeah, gaining half a second or so a lap is just not going to be enough. However, it is going to be enough that we can secure 4th place. And with Albin in 6th, Yamamoto 2nd, that is still a really, really good result for us that will take any day of the week. So with that, we are going to be finishing here. And since both Yamamoto and Albin only have a minor fault to their components, we could see both of them try those components again next race. And that would, again, benefit us heavily. Right now, we win. Yamamoto's going to come 2nd. Sainz is going to secure a 3rd place finish here. More importantly, Show is going to get 4th. Albin did actually get the overtake there. Goes up to 5th. That is not as good as it could have been. But we still beat both of our rivals in Williams. So I think we can be happy with that situation. But yeah. We've had a really, really good session here. Honestly, all things considered. We have extended the gap in the Driver Championship massively. Show has started to gain a little bit on Albin. It's just 28 points behind. That's not terrible, particularly considering that Rivas almost has 100 points in Yamamoto. If we take a look at the constructors, we extend our gap here with 8 points this race. We're up to 55. That is good news. That means we can have a double DNF weekend with Williams finishing 1-2, and we'll still be ahead of them. That is not a terrible position to find yourself in. But with that said, next up it is going to be Coda. We have a good 6 races remaining. We'll go through them next time. That is going to be it for today. I'm very sorry that it's taken me so long to get back to Around the Grid. But we're finally back with it. And hopefully within just a couple of days, Maximum Weight will be back as well. We'll be trying to finishing off this series pretty soon. Well, Around the Grid is going to require a little bit more work, but you get the idea. And try to get back to some new stuff. I did enjoy editing the, making and editing the Sauber thing. Sauber video, where we take the title in Season 1 with 2025. It was a fun little challenge. But those things take a lot of time. I could probably make 10, maybe 20 other videos in that time. 20 is probably an overstatement, but still, it's a lot of work to do it like that. So we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do forwards. I'm having a lot of fun with this still. But at the same time, it's basically a lot of videos like this, or a video every week or so, like the Sauber one. I don't know what I want to do yet, but we'll see. Thank you all very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye. Hope you all have a good weekend.